This is an activity over drafting equipment. This is a T-square, a circle template, drafting brush, a 30-60 triangle, and a 45-degree triangle, and an architectural scale, which also includes a standard rule of measure. I'm going to start with lining up my T-square at the edge of the table. Once that is lined up, I can use the T-square to line up my paper. Once my paper is lined up, I want to hold it in the center, and I am going to tape in an X pattern like so, and that keeps the paper nice and flat so you don't have any air bubbles. You also want to make sure that your tape is nice and flat so it does not catch on the edge of the T-square. Now, in order to draw a line or start a drawing, a starting point, and I have measured over 1 inch from the corner, and I am going to use that mark to lightly sweep an L. Notice I'm using the edge of my pencil and sweeping because I don't want a dark line at this point. Now I can use that L in order to create measurements. I'm first going to measure the length followed by the height of the front view of this 3D part. In this case, the front view measures 3 inches, so I will measure 3 inches along my line, make a dot. The height measures 1.5 inches, so I will measure 1.5 inches, make a dot. I will then use my T-square to lightly sweep a line across, and I use my triangle, and I first put my pencil in the dot, and then I bring my triangle over to meet the pencil, lightly sweep a line all the way up. My second measure will be height, which in this case is 1/2 inch. So I will measure up 1/2 inch, make a dot. I'll measure out, and I always measure along the line to make sure I get a true measurement. 1/2 inch, make a dot. And again, lightly sweep a line upwards, use my T-square for my horizontal, and sweep it all the way across. Now that I've created the L, I want to come in and darken in the actual part and leave the other lines alone. I don't erase them, I just leave them very, very light because I use them in my corresponding views. Now there's the front view, and I will zoom in of my part. Now I use the constraints to complete the top and the right side. I'm first going to measure 2 inches between parts, or actually 1 inch. I'll measure 1 inch. This is a small part. And then I look for the depth of my part, which is found in your top view. The depth of this part is 2 inches, so I'll measure up 1 inch between parts, and then 2 inches for depth. And I can repeat this process for the right side, 1 inch between parts, and 2 inches for the depth. And now I can use my equipment now that I have all of the lines, I'm going to come back and darken them in. And I try to darken all of my verticals at once. Or all of my horizontals, I should say, and all of my verticals at once. And I missed one. Now what I have created is a front, top, and right side which are all equally spaced and aligned. This is called an orthographic projection or multi-view.